First of all, a record response again. 854 businesses from Greater Manchester are responding to the survey. It enables us to speak with real confidence about what's going on in the local economy, but much sooner than some of the official data comes out. So we're actually ahead of the game when we're putting forward policy measures. And we did an MP's briefing earlier this week, and that's part of sort of getting that message across from businesses, getting your voice across to MPs. And so I kind of wondered about what I should call this slide, because one of the MPs kind of said I was painting too much of an encouraging picture. I don't believe I am. I think there are some positives to take. I've got here the last 10 QES reports that I've written. Nowhere have I been overly optimistic, as many other economists have, and many government projections, both local and national, about the rate of growth that we see. I've used phrases like anemic growth, low growth, challenging, vulnerable to the external environment. So I'm very aware of the conditions that businesses are in. But what I think is that we need to nurture confidence. We've made forceful arguments for infrastructure investment, not in the last few months. Last summer, we were arguing that the Bank of England should look at using its quantitative easing programme for infrastructure investment in the regional economies. And perhaps Ed will talk about some of those infrastructure projects and some of the lack of investment that we see in the regional economies. There's great potential here in the Northwest for growth. We've highlighted those challenges that we see in those construction firms, and that's part of the reason why we argued for infrastructure investment. But it's our performance of our exporters that has been helping support growth in the region. Part of the reason why we're concerned about that vulnerability of the domestic economy, because it does remain somewhat weak. But I stand by what I said to that MP on Monday evening, that I'm encouraged by the results. There are some positive signs, some really good positive signs that we can take forward. And I think given some of the slowdown that we saw as a result of the Eurozone uncertainty towards the end of last year, actually this quarter's results are perhaps a little better than you might have expected as a result of that uncertainty that we've had in the Eurozone over the last couple of months. And actually I should just mention that for those who haven't seen the news today, the Eurozone leaders did reach an agreement last night. And despite Angela Merkel saying not in her lifetime, we now have a pilot Euro project bond worth 4.5 billion. So I think what we're starting to see is the introduction of a Euro bond. So I think the markets would be very encouraged by that today. So what is the survey telling us this quarter? Well, once again, on the demand measures for manufacturing, our broad-based measure of manufacturing, it's still very much a tale of two sectors. I've already indicated that the construction sector remains challenged, but the manufacturing sector, even in the domestic economy, is continuing to see growth, although it has eased slightly, but perhaps you might expect that. But the order book is slowing. But what I would say is that it's those exports. Exports are continuing to strengthen. But as I say, when you read the headline numbers for our broad manufacturing sector, you will see a weakening of those measures because of the construction sector. So very, very challenging times.